Yo, what's up everyone? Good morning or afternoon or maybe good night. I don't know. I don't care. Right, so before you think what the hell is in front of me, this looks like a complete mess. This has actually saved my ass so much in campaign. So give me 1 second just to explain what it's doing and then we'll dive into the tutorial. So firstly, yeah, this schematic is pretty big if we zoom out, but I've made it modular so we can make step by step until we've got enough resources to add them in. We can make Metaglass, graphite, silicon, surge, alloy, phase weave, and plastanium from here. We're also using logic. For example, the kiln here is turned off. That's because we now have 2000 Metaglass in the core. I've done this so I can use better use of the sand to just send to the silicon instead of, just making so much Metaglass when you don't really need it. So there are a few other logic parts to it, and I'll explain that a bit further down. You'll also notice we're using an overdrive dome, so everything is sped up 250%, so we're actually producing a hell of a lot here. And it maximizes our RTG generators, so these create power. Each one at the moment is creating 675 power. If we didn't have the overdrome, it would be 270 power. And you can see on the right, from all the ones there, we've got 104,000 power just from this cool schematic. And the cool thing with these is you can literally just build them how you want. As long as they're within this circle of the overdrive dome, you'll get that benefit. So let's jump into the tutorial. So this is like a mid-game schematic, so we will need thorium already going into our core with sand. You should have miner drones at this point and they'll just be sending in copper and lead. So let's make the first part. Core 1. This adds Metaglass and it adds the phase weaver. So all we have to do is connect this up with power and straight away it'll start to work. Our thorium is sending up via these junctions to an unsorted sorter straight into the phase weaver. Now you can see Metaglass is already being produced pretty fast and the phase weave. We do have logic. We don't have any for the phase weaver. That's because I want to just keep that going since we're using that for the overdrive dome. So for the kiln, I've said if there's less than 500 lead in the core, turn off, because I don't want to use up all my lead. I want a buffer. I've also said if there's more than 2000 Metaglass, turn off. And as I said before, I don't want 10,000 Metaglass in my core. There's no point. I'd rather use my sand for something else. But if you do want more, just change that number to how much you want. Easily editable. Same with the lead. So at the moment we're sending our phase fabric and our Metaglass down via this bridge. But once we add more factories, we're going to need a faster bridge. So we're going to swap these out for phase conveyors. We have to wait till we have 20 phase fabric in our core and we can add the next schematic. This also adds an alloy smelter, so you should already be adding silicon anyway into your core, but we'll also need titanium. Now I'm just going to speed up how much is in our core, because for the logic to work we need 500 of each of these resources. So that's close enough. The alloy smelter now works because we have 500 copper, lead, titanium and silicon in the core. I've already made a tutorial on the logic for this alloy smelter, so click the description link below and you can get the full overview of that. But just to quickly explain how it works, we're just using this one unloader to send everything into the alloy smelter. We're saying if copper, lead, titanium and silicon are at 500, it'll turn on. But I've also added one extra part, which is if surge alloy is more than 2000, turn off. Because once again, I don't want to make so much. And as always, change to how much you want. It's completely up to you. Now the next part, I want to add a silicon crucible. The only problem is that we need 35 plastanium. So let's add the next core. And this is core 3, which adds plastanium to the side here. Now this will only slowly make it. If you have enough resources, you can make this part 6 tier, and that's the right ratios to use. And watch out at the top here, they're not connected. So if we add a couple of nodes, that starts to work. And we are now sending in plastanium. We've got to save up 35 for the next part. So let's just add the next part in. So now we have a power type mixer, silicon crucible, and the multi-press. So to get this to work, we need coal going into our core, and we can just remove silicon since it's going to be self-sufficient. The coal will go through the power type mixer into the silicon crucible and out to make the multi-press work. The power type mixer is only going to send into the crucible. It's not going to send anything into the core. Now we do have logic built into this. It's basic again for the silicon because we need to use that silicon for the overdrive dome. So we just are saying only work if we have 500 lead in the core. For the multi-press, we're saying if you have more than 8,000 graphite, turn off. And as always, pick whichever number you want. I don't care. So yeah, so far we have Metaglass, graphite, silicon, plastanium, phase fabric, and surge alloy just from this little schematic so far. Now let's just tie this all together by using the last one. This is adding the overdrive dome and RTG generators. Now you've got to be careful with our resources here because our sand and our coal is going to go down. So let's add another sand and another coal. And obviously, because you're making plastanium, we can change these to a plastanium line and you'd only have to use 2 to get all these resources in. So the overdrive dome is working, which means everything is now supercharged and going 250% faster. We also have the RTG generators creating power. Now, normally they only make 270 power, but because they're in the overdrive dome, they're making 675 power. So all we have to do is stack them up and you're going to make a huge amount of power. It's as simple as that. For instance, we can just stop there, disconnect that line, so this is totally self-sufficient and we're at 10,000 power. Now if we want to keep expanding, as long as we're inside this dome, we should be okay. Let's try and get close to 100,000 because it does come with a bit of hassle. How are we doing? Yeah, we're okay there. And you can see they're flickering red as well, which means they're not getting enough thorium because thorium is only going through this way. So there are a few things we could do. I mean, you could remove the battery here and add more thorium going to another direction. That speeds it up. Our power is now at 42,000. And it's pretty cool because if this is a map, you can just build it around the map. But yeah, let's carry on. Building here. Building here. And let's build a bit down here. Is that correct? No, it's not. There we go. So where are we at now? We're at 60,000. That's because we're not getting enough thorium. So we could send some from the core, or if you had thorium in another direction, just send it straight in to any of these. And you'll watch the power just totally increase to 60, 70. And yeah, you know, if you keep building, you'll get up to that 100,000. But yeah, that's it for today. Well, there are so many other things you can do with a build like this. For instance, I've built this without the plastanium, but added an impact reactor. So because the impact reactor is inside, the Overdrive dome is supercharged as well, and you'll get a whole load of power from that. So it just depends on your map, and you can play about and make it yourself. All the schematics are in the description below, so just click the Reddit link and copy them straight into your game. And yeah, hope you like that. See you later, bros. Have a good day.